Purchase price for Volvo cars and related assets,
When
primarily the
GEELY
intellectual
acquired
property.
Volvo's passenger car business, GEELY would never be involved in the management of Volvo, but only in a support role such as investing. So now, GEELY's acquisition of Volvo is often considered as one of the most ideal and successful cases. It's been 15 years since GEELY acquired Volvo. In that time, Volvo has achieved remarkable growth. However, it appears that GEELY, which has been a big supporter of Volvo, has changed. In other words, as its interests have expanded outside of Volvo, and it looks like GEELY is getting more involved in the management of Volvo. As these signs become more apparent, the future of Volvo appears somewhat uncertain. In this video, I'd like to share my personal opinion on this. After GEELY took over Volvo, Volvo has begun to address the long-standing challenges it faced. First of all, they did an all-model facelift simultaneously in 2014. Additionally, they also completed the development of a new Drive E engine, despite the difficulties and significant costs involved. The following year, starting with the launch of the all-new XC90, the next generation of all series were announced one after another. Naturally, the market response was positive and with a significant increase in sales volume. However, on the brink of the electric vehicles era, Volvo has been moving at a much slower pace than before. Since the unveiling of the EX90 a year and a half ago, there should have been a steady stream of electric models, including the 60 series electric cars, but the only model released is the EX30 so far. A few days ago, Volvo's official media site announced that the XC40 and C40 recharge models will now be called the EX40 and EC40. For the electric vehicles platform models, Volvo named starting with the letter E, but EX40 and EC40 are basically combustion engine-based platform named that starts with the letter E. Based on this, it seems that the next generation electric 40 series might not be coming out anytime soon. So, what's the reason for this delay in next generation development? Were they good enough to be class-leading model than competitors? Let's take a look at the EX90 and EX30 once again. First, the EX90 is very innovative with its front lamp and LiDAR system. However, the seats are simply carried over from the XC90, and the driver UI and other components are only at the level of imitation of what has already been implemented by other brands. Interestingly, the benchmark for this emulation was Tesla. There's a saying that always comes with Volvo.
Scandinavian design.
Even if it excludes the many user-friendly elements to keep the design simple, you can get used to it. But I think EX30 has exceeded the appropriate limit. Don't you think it was built on the policy of lowering production costs as much as possible? But the EM90 is different. EM90 is filled with flash and luxurious features. I think this is contrary to the Scandinavian style that Volvo often talks about. Nevertheless, Volvo still saying that
Scandinavian design, 96 years of safety.
EM90 is simply a facelifted version of the GEELY 009, which is developed by Chinese and tailored to their preferences. It's not a pure Volvo car. In 2018, Volvo announced that 50% of all vehicles sold would be pure electric cars by 2025. However, the only electric cars we will see in showrooms next year are only these 5 models. With their lineup, will the target achievable? The EX60, the successor Volvo's best-selling model XC60, may be introduced, but actual sales of EX60 cannot be started because there is not enough time to carry on. Therefore, achieving the target appears unattainable. Volvo's slow progress is not only thing that makes me disappointed. Volvo has begun to focus on profitability as well. Around the 2021 model year, they started lowering production costs across the board. The next generation of electric cars, the E model series, you can see the interior things are as simple as possible. It's not even user-friendly. For this kind of design, Tesla says it's to reduce production cost. Volvo says it's Scandinavian. What do you say? Are those decisions made by Volvo's Swedish headquarters or influenced by GEELY? You can see the reason of those after following what GEELY has done on business so far. After the successful acquisition of Volvo, GEELY started showing interest in other brands. In 2017, GEELY acquired 51% stake in the Lotus brand and becoming its largest shareholder. As you know, Lotus is a British sports car brand with an incredible heritage. However, it wasn't a mass market car brand, so it didn't make a lot of money. Just like Volvo, Lotus was not owned by the British company. Lotus now makes cars that are relevant to the times, not only an electric sports car, but electric SUV, so-called money-making. Both are not the lightweight, internal combustion pure sports cars that Lotus has traditionally been known for. These are luxury premium super electric cars. The EX90, the first production car using LiDAR, only has one LiDAR unit in the front, while the Lotus Electra has up to 4 units. Looking at the hardware specs, it would be a much safer and more advanced system than the Volvo EX90. Polestar 1 and 2 models are essentially derivative of Volvo. In case of Polestar 2, was originally developed to debut as new Volvo model but moved to Polestar because they were urgently needed new model. However, in Polestar 3, they took the SPA2 platform and UI developed by Volvo, applied it to the EX90, and then filled in the rest with Polestar's own style. That's why everyone says that the real Polestar starts with Polestar 3. But from Polestar 4, it was built on the SEA platform that GEELY developed. So there are very few features that are associated with Volvo. Instead, it shares many aspects with GEELY's brand, exactly Zeekr 001. As a result, the resemblance is more to Zeekr, Chinese brand, rather than Volvo. GEELY, unlike other Chinese brands, is very proactive in acquiring and collaborating with foreign brands. Through this, GEELY has learned the technological know-how of the acquired brands and established cooperation agreements with various technology companies such as Luminar, AMD, and Mobileye. This has allowed them to prepare hardware and software for autonomous driving technology and interfaces for upcoming new models. Consequently, solutions developed through these collaborations are actively applied to the new models of various brands under GEELY Group. As a result, it's so noticeable that recent new models from GEELY owned share similar hardware and interfaces. This approach helps reduce development cost and time. Indeed, when observing the overall trends of brand under GEELY's ownership, the character of the original brand is only felt in the exterior design. The semi-autonomous driving, driver assistance, and system UI were developed by ECARX, a tech collaboration entity established by GEELY, will be used collectively by each brand with minor design modifications, allowing for the most efficient development process of new vehicles. So, of course, Volvo's upcoming series of electric cars will look Volvo, but the underlying hardware will be no different than any other brand under the GEELY. EX90, the first mass-produced car to feature LiDAR, faced a delay in its release, and now other brands' new cars also have LiDAR system are also awaiting its release. Volvo wanted to integrate the LiDAR system to make cars safer, but the person who was working on it had already quitted Volvo, and the department had been disbanded. That's why the release date of EX90 was postponed. Currently, ECARX is performing LiDAR optimization tasks. Once this work is completed, LiDAR functionality will be available not only for Volvo, but also for Lotus and Zeekr. LiDAR-based safety system will no longer be Volvo's exclusive feature.